Someone call the police. I really do believe some elder abuse is going on. I'm being serious about that. Senator Dianne Feinstein made her return to Washington, which you can see right here. And as we can see, she's coming out of the car. They got the wheel. They pulled up the wheelchair. Can you believe that? I mean, don't have me calling on Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, but I just did that right there. I mean, the 89-year-old Senator Feinstein was suffering from a case of the shingles and was being treated in the hospital in San Francisco, California. Now, we know that she's been gone for quite a while. I want to remind you that she last voted in the Senate in February. Yeah, and there have been some pretty important votes to come through the Senate committee that she sits on, mainly judicial appointments. And she has missed quite a few votes. How many votes did Senator Feinstein miss since February the 16th? I'm so glad you asked that. She missed 91 floor votes, and that is not counting the votes in committee, because there are these things in the Congress called committees, just as in state legislatures, and you have to sit on the various committees. That means your voice is needed on these committees, like the Judiciary Committee, of which she missed. And her absence has spurred calls for her to resign. Like the one that Congressman Ro Khanna, you might remember, he said this.
But it has become painfully obvious to many of us in California that she is no longer able to fulfill her duties. She doesn't have a clear return date. We haven't been able to confirm judges at a time where women's rights and voting rights are under assault. The time has come for her to gracefully step down and have a dignified end to a very distinguished political career.
A dignified end to a very distinguished career. I do agree with Congressman Ro Khanna on that. Now, Democrats openly complained that her lengthy absence was compromising the Democratic agenda. It was only some people like Congressman Ro Khanna who had the courage to say the quiet part out loud, which included that those missing votes, slowing the push to confirm President Biden's judicial nominees. Now, last month, facing pressure over her extended absence, Feinstein made the unusual request to be temporarily replaced on the Judiciary Committee. At the time, she said her recovery had been delayed because of complications and provided no date for her return. Republicans in the closely divided chamber rejected the request, surprise, 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 saying Democrats only wanted a stand-in to push through Biden's most partisan judicial nominations. You think? I mean, this is how this goes. Sharon, I mean, the Republicans said it. Their response makes no sense because they would have done the same thing. This is just normal order of business, what they complaining about. But your thoughts about the fact that the senator is now back, we're gonna get a little deeper in this, and that there were very few members of Congress who had the courage to say, come on, Senator, let's wrap it up.
We all see it, right? It's like that commercial. We all see it, and it is very, very sad to me because she's propped up, Senator. Her skin tone was gray, looked like she had heavy makeup. And I'm not proud of this, but the first thought that popped into my mind, because she's alive, but was Queen Elizabeth. And remember the last appearance, and her hands and everything looked, very, very well, trauma filled. This was traumatic to see this, and not necessary. There comes a time where you can be the captain of your goodbye, your next chapter, and she has chosen at some point not to do that.
Yeah. No, she is very much in control, and it is very scary. I mean, I looked at that and how they had to wheel her in, and it just doesn't make sense, especially since, I'm gonna remind you, she says she's not even running for re-election. As we know, there are people already vying for the seat, and there's no need to continue to go this way. Your point, Sharon, is she could be the captain of her own exit strategy. It really marries very well with what Congressman Ro Khanna said. A storied career. That doesn't mean I agree with everything she's done, but definitely she has distinguished, he said, distinguished career, and she can exit for the people of her state and also the people of this country. Now that she is back, she said she's going to be working a lighter schedule. That's what she said. Even though I've made significant progress and was able to return to Washington, I'm still experiencing some side effects from the shingles virus. My doctors have advised me to work a lighter schedule as I return to the Senate. I'm hopeful those issues will subside as I continue to recover. What in the name of God? Now, this just don't make sense, people. I mean, really, at a certain point, you got to say that some of these people are being selfish. And she ain't the only one. I mean, I can say that about the presidential race, but I digressed a little bit. This is just plain selfishness. And it's very clear to see that she is no longer fit to serve. That does not mean she has not done things. She's 89. It is time to come on, baby, pass the baton a little bit. It's even more clear that Democrats are keeping her around as a warm body to hold the majority. And that's why I opened this up with 911, what's your emergency? Elder abuse is the emergency. Hello, send help. And I mean quick. This is a damn shame. Now this ain't the first time this happened, but Sharon, I'm all off script. Let me get back. This is elder abuse. And some folks are even comparing it to what the Republicans did, because they ain't got clean hands. They rarely do. What they did with Senator Strom Thurmond, who was the former governor of South Carolina, a segregationalist personified. But check out this tweet right here by Dr. Thrasher, how it started, how it's going. Whether it's Strom Thurmond at 99 or Dianne Feinstein at 89, these people, plus those who own them, go ahead on Dr. Thrasher, should not be setting the bar that the rest of us ought to be greeters at Walmarts in our final years. Our lives have meaning without working. I mean, Dr. Thrasher laid that out there really, really strong. So, I don't know, Sharon. I mean, how did we let this get this bad? And I'm using us very generically. Yeah. What's the solution?
Well, when you treat these offices as if you are a royal, okay, let's go back across the pond. That's what's going on here. If life and society and government works the way it's supposed to, there's supposed to be an influx of new energy and new ideas and heir apparents. And I use the word heir, but I mean the people should decide that, okay? Why not let someone else step up and infuse the party, the democracy, instead of going out like this? Why are you going out like this? It's not necessary. And I agree with you. She didn't look like she wanted to be there, and I'm not buying that it's just shingles, although I've never had it. My mother has. There's something going on here, and she's almost 90. In a few weeks, Senator, she'll be 90, and that's okay. You don't have to do this.
No, she does not. And definitely she's positioned financially, for God's sakes, for sure. You and I know a lot of people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s in the hoods where they misunderstood all over this country, rural, urban, or suburban, who are not set up in the same way that she is. She can afford it on many levels, both socially and politically and economically, where most elders would not be able to exit gracefully or with their stature in place. I mean, anyway, we gonna keep you guys posted. I just know very few jobs in America, the average Americans work, where you can do this, where you can be gone since February, then you come back and say you're gonna work a light load. I do agree with Sharon, there has to be more than shingles here, but my Cracker Jack box field, I'm dating myself. I don't know, I know Gen Xers know what I'm talking about with the Cracker Jack box with the prize. My Cracker Jack box or Cracker Jill box MD, I don't know if this is just, but I'm gonna take Sharon's word for it, because her mother, she's been around somebody that has shingles, that this is a little more than that. For the love of the country and the citizens of the great state of California, Senator Dianne Feinstein, you have served you have done that. It is time. You are the captain of your ship. Baby, don't go out like this, please.